So in case you've not seen it, there was an update to probably the greatest game of last year. Like step aside Baldur's Gate. Tell you what, Todd, our Lord and Savior, he, in his infinite wisdom, praise be to Todd, he decided to make the first major update for Starfield, a big revamp of the content offering. Now that sounds great, right? Wow. More content being offered. What could possibly go wrong? Well, how they've done this is through the Creation Club. And if you don't remember the Creation Club, this was something that I believe initially started in like the 2018 era when they were trying to boost revenues to make themselves look better for a potential sale to Xbox. Same time when they were pushing for Fallout 76, all the live service stuff with the Redfall, all that was happening at the same time. And so did the Creation Club. Effectively, what it is paid mods under the guise of supporting the modders. Okay, so just to put it in simplest terms, how, in case you are just a console player and you've never done any modding, that's totally fine. Just to briefly explain it, most mods are done through a platform like a Nexus Mods. Nexus Mods is a fantastic site where you can go in there and actually like select individual games that you'd want to mod, and then you can add all sorts of different things. So if we click Starfield here, you can see there's all of these mods new this week, popular in the last 30 days. So there's all of these mods here. And I want you to remember some of these, okay? So like improved follower behavior, NPC sync walk speed. So NPCs walk the same speed as you, or increases you to match the NPC's walk speed. So like you're actually synced up when you're walking from place to place. New ship module customization stuff, various crew, no more clones, increases appearance of special crew faces from 32 in the vanilla game to 500. All sorts of crazy things that can improve the game, right? Name replacement overhaul to just replace everything to look like Star Wars, you know? There's tons of stuff here. So how this normally would work is you'd find the mod that you'd want. So let's say improve follower behavior. You'd go in here, you would download it, or after you log in, if you have a mod manager like Vortex installed on your computer, that automatically installs these mods to the game. So you can just basically click a button and it's working in your game. It's way easier than it used to be. Still, there will occasionally be mods where you have to go in and manually do it, where it's like you drag this folder into this folder, copy this file into that folder, override the permissions and do this, this, and this, modify the INI file to say this instead of that. Sometimes you have to do that, but a lot of these mods now just work. It just works. You press a button and it works. So with that said, all of these are free, as you can see. I mean, as we're sifting through, there's no price tags associated with any of these. Simple dynamic boost packs, Astrogate, like all these things. Okay, so simple dynamic boost packs, all of that. These are all free, and that's how mods have worked for ages, is that the community would work together. And if you really wanted to support one of these modders, like, I don't know if this one does, a lot of the time they will have like a tip link where you can go in and pitch them a few bucks if you really appreciate the work that they've done. If you want to help them out, you can like sign up for their Patreon or whatever. A lot of time there's stuff like that, but on the whole, the mods are free. What BGS realized is that there's a whole community of people on like Xbox, for example, that would love mods, but don't have the means of getting the mods. So they decided, oh, well, we could do console mods where we could bring some of these onto a platform where you could install them onto a console version of the game, which is awesome. I love that. But then they were like, well, there's some overhead involved with that. We've got to be prepared to handle all that overhead, and that could be expensive. So maybe we find a way to like monetize it a little bit. And this is again in the age of like Fallout 76 and Redfall, when they were trying to boost revenues to look more valuable for when they were acquired in the future. So they needed to do that. And one of the ways they could do that was through paid mods. One of the other things they've done is they've tried to get away from the accusations of this being greedy and instead pivot to, no, we're not greedy. we're supporting our modders. So one of the ways that they claimed they did this, I don't think this has the actual footage. Anyway, they've done previous tours and stuff where they'll invite these modders out to Bethesda Game Studios' offices. They'll walk them through the building, be like, wow, look at all this amazing stuff. And then they'll do little interviews. They get to meet Todd and all of that. So they kind of rub shoulders, rub elbows, and get real friendly. And they'll post videos of this and be like, see, by you engaging with the Creation Club, you are supporting these people. That's great. But let's not get it twisted. What the Creation Club is a platform for microtransactions, and they give a cut to modders who create a lot of it. But there are also things that are in here that are straight up made by Bethesda Game Studios and sold as microtransactions. This right here, Trackers Alliance The Vulture. This is a Bethesda Game Studios creation or mod that is paid. So this one I think was 700 credits. When you log into the game for the first time, they give you 1,000 for free, which is the only reason I have this one, because for the critique, I wanted to test it and see what is actually involved here. And basically this, adds a new contract to the Trackers Alliance board when you are in Shakira, whatever the city's called. So a lot of people saw this and were naturally very upset. They're like, it's one thing if modders are putting something together and then getting some kickback for it. Already, it's a little crazy how expensive some of these are. Some of these are free, water retextures, further, faster, smarter boosts. So this is one of the free ones we saw in Nexus Mods. Color filter removal. I installed this one and I think the game looks way better. That weird color filter that was on everything, you can just take it away. And so now it's not all grayish blue everywhere you go. I think it looks way, way better. So there's things like that are still free and that you can install and it's fine. Improve follower behavior. That's it. Yup. What I find hilarious, the top mod is the unofficial Starfield patch. They have a platform where you can get mods installed for their game. And the top mod is a collection of bug fixes because Bethesda hasn't gotten around to doing it, but they got around to making the platform to distribute the patch somebody else made for their game. Like, you can't make this up. Literally, most popular this month, most popular is the Starfield patch. I know it's duct tape, but it kind of looks like toilet paper. So I find that I choose to believe that it's toilet paper. But that being said, like, there's so many weird things with this. Zero cost space crew. I just like this because you can have who you want on your ship without having to do arbitrary like upgrades and stuff that take forever. But even this, like 1,000 credits. This is a Bethesda Game Studios mod. Become the captain of your own Ancient Mariner with 22 new decor items, all craftable through Decorate mod in outposts, ships, and housing. Visit any ship service technician to apply the new module. And you go in here and like this is it. It is like a single hab that has this stuff in it. And that is 1,000 credits. Which, to be clear, is like, what, $10? About $10 for that. And again, this is official. But they claim this is a platform for mods for you to support the moderator, the mod creators out there, little Joe Schmoes, regular people like you and me that are putting mods together and they want to do this for a living. And you listen to like that interview with Todd Howard that he did with Maddie, and he's talking about it as, well, no, we want to really empower those creators to continue making amazing things. And we want to make sure that they can do this for a living if they want to. It's like, okay. But then why is this here then? Because let's be honest, this is just a platform for paid microtransactions where they can sell you little things like this to get more revenue out of the game that you've already bought or got through Game Pass, whatever. And then they have other stuff in here that is made by other people. That's made by, smaller mods and or mod creators. But even a lot of these are free. Infinite carry weight. You just download it. And then it sets the carry weight to 1 million. So you don't have to worry about carrying equipment. You want more beards? Just hit download and it's added. Whereas Bethesda probably charged $10 for it. So a lot of people, like, they're actually putting stuff up here are just doing it for free because they want to make the game better. But this is why, like, again, you can't just take everything at face value when somebody tells you, oh no, we're doing this to support the little guy. It's like, okay, well, the little guy is posting all of his stuff for free on your platform. You say it's meant to support them. You are selling stuff for $10 that is not worth $1. Like, okay. Okay, dude. So as a result of these paid mods, you can see recent reviews have plunged to mostly negative. And a lot of it is just specifically about paid mods. It's like Fallout or Skyrim, except exploring isn't fun. Yeah, despite the overall negative review, I do actually kind of like this game with a big fat asterisk and all sorts of that. Yeah, things with paid mods, all sorts of stuff. A big booty. All the things you would expect from a good, healthy review section on a Steam game. So people have gotten very upset about it. And when Todd went on Mr. Maddie's channel to do an interview, I'm starting to think, like, I think it was definitely in the works before this, but I think one of the new objectives for that interview was to try and calm people down about the paid mods. So they probably started talking about doing the interview like late last year, early this year, and it just took this long to actually happen because you have to schedule it out so far. And I think in the process of that, they decided to talk about paid mods and how they could calm people down. But all Todd really said about it was, we're going to take a look at that. And that's really all he said. So on Steam, Starfield's recent user reviews are now mostly negative after disgruntled players hit out at Bethesda for charging $7 for a single Starfield mission. The second mission of the recently released Trackers Alliance is only available as a Starfield creation and costs $7 or 700 credits. That's the one that I showed you just a minute ago. Creations are built via Starfield's creation kit and include free and paid mods. Creations include new missions, gear, skins, and weapons. Here's the official blurb. They said Trackers Alliance establishes the first several missions, enabling you to live your best bounty hunting life. The first mission, the Starjacker, will have you in contact with a mysterious tracker located in settlements through the settled systems. From there, let the hunts begin. And there are other problems with this. Like, I talk about this in the critique, but like, there are whole bits where they say like, oh, you can't just take a ship that you've stolen and like scrape the serial numbers and stuff off and then sell it to somebody else for a major profit. And the reason that they say that is because it would destabilize the game's economy. If you could just go steal any ship and then sell it to a scrapper and then make a ton of money, like, there'd be no reason to really do quests. You'd just be swimming in money. So they'd have to find other ways to maybe put a bounty on your head or for that to get you caught up with something. And how they did it was like the worst way to handle it in both ways, where they made it so you can actually scrape serial numbers effectively and sell a ship you've stolen, but it's for such a laughably low amount, it's not even really worth the trouble. So it's like, yeah, I'll take this off your hands basically for free. And it's just it's a bit of a joke. But in this Trackers Alliance quest, the first bounty you do, you're going after a guy that runs a chop shop where they do this very thing. It's like a whole faction that you're going after to get their guy. I think his name is Hannibal or something. And the whole thing is like, yeah, they run a chop shop where they take ships that have been stolen and then scrape them and then sell them off to the highest bidder and make a ton of money doing it. It's a big enough thing that they have a whole space station chop shop, basically. It's just like, well, you just contradicted. Like, I thought this wasn't viable. I thought you couldn't do this in this universe because it would be tracked and you'd get screwed. You can sell broken or stolen ships now. I'm pretty sure you could always do it. It was just for like basically no money, no profit. So like you would steal a ship and then you take it over and it's like, yeah, I'll take it off your hands for 1,200 credits or for 800 credits or something. And it was like, okay, well then why did I bother with all this? I could go do a little like fetch quest and make 5,000. So why am I doing that? So anyway, there's a lot of examples of this in BGS games where like they set one rule over here and then a few months go by and they totally contradict it over here. Because they just like, it's fine. People won't think about it that much. It's whatever. And they just leave it there. And it's really, really frustrating if you're trying to play the game as one total package, you know? Let's see. So the second Trackers Alliance mission, the Vulture, is available within the new creations menu. And what bounty hunter is without their trusted methods to get the job done? It's just another mission that they're charging $7 for. Now they can pivot. They can be like, well, this is because They give you 1,000, so it's basically a free mission. That's not how that works. Okay, that's not how that works at all. It's still 700 credits. Like whether you choose to use the free ones or you try to buy it, that's just we're getting silly. So they continue on with this. In an interview with the YouTube channel Mr. Matty Plays, Todd Howard responded directly to the criticisms and confirmed plans to look again at Bethesda's pricing. He said, "We hear that feedback too," Howard said. "First of all, I'll say that stuff gets priced based on things that we've done before, both in Creation Club and then Fallout 76. And we're always trying to be looking at what else is out there, really make sure we're giving value to everybody. And where we're not, hey, you know, we definitely will adjust." The one thing I want to say on the Trackers Alliance, that was really an attempt to something we did in Creation Club where we'd say, hey, you can get this special outfit and you can get this special weapon. We wanted to put them together and then thought, let's go the extra mile and wrap those around a quest. Okay. But now we definitely see the feedback, right? And that's not what we want at all in terms of, oh no, this looks like a faction that we're chopping up and then selling for 700 credits at a time. And so I do think we're going to take a look at that and how we deliver content like that and whether we're changing pricing or breaking it up or whatever, we should do that. So great feedback from the community. I do not believe for a second, I have way too much respect for this man that I have a burning candle for, similar to what people do for their holy figures. I respect this man too much to believe that he is that stupid, that he was not aware the community would be upset that they were charging $7 for a quest in a single player game. I don't believe for a second that came as a surprise. I think they knew. I just don't think they care. That's a different thing, you know? Because again, the whole premise with these mods is that they want to find a way to further monetize these games over the long term. These games that they make are played for a decade at a time. They are very successful in the long term. Nobody's questioning that. And Bethesda has always wanted to find a way to monetize it, to make it more profitable to have these games that are played for decades. With Starfield, or with Skyrim rather, they just sold it 15 times and would do like a slightly altered version each time and people kept buying it. With Starfield, they're not going to do that as far as I can tell. Like they might do a Game of the Year edition because they found one person that called it Game of the Year and they'll re-release a special edition like that. Maybe they've already done that. I don't know. But what it seems to be is that their plan for a lot of their games is to create basically live service single player games where they support it long term with annual story updates and expansions, and then a lot of paid mods and stuff like that. And that keeps it afloat. That keeps the money flowing in. Because again, if Fallout 5 is not expected until like 2032, 2035, somewhere between there, the next Starfield game is probably not coming until the late 2030s, which is crazy. It will probably be between 10 and 15 years before we see another Starfield-esque game. So when we're talking about that amount of time, it's like, yeah, it makes sense why they would want to find some way to monetize this in the short term, as, you know, stretching into the long term. So that's, I mean, let's be honest, that's all this is. You know, what I can't stand is when developers or PR treat the community like they are extremely stupid and trying to frame this around, well, no, we wanted to deliver more content to players. You could just deliver more content to players. Like you could do that. If you wanted to send out free expansions and things, or paid expansions, and then you fill in free content here and there, I think people would be fine with that. We could respect it. If it was a big expansion that was deserving of our money, we would do that. And imagine every year they're doing like a Far Harbor sized expansion. That would be a great way to keep the game alive for years and years and years. That would be great. This is not that. This is a platform for you to sell microtransactions, which quickly approach macro transactions, with $10 rooms, which is what I mean, this is a room for $10. That's what it is. That's what this is. It's a platform for that. But even this, you see 336 likes. I would not be surprised if 336 people, probably well more, 9,000 people bookmarked it, saved it for later. So they still probably sold a handful of thousands of copies of this. And that's because these types of microtransactions and things that are built around appealing to whales, they are not designed for the average consumer that is looking at this. These are designed to get the whales to buy them.
Brendan Lucas donated £5 through Super Chat. Why shouldn't modders get paid? Would you be a YouTuber if you weren't getting paid?
No, so here's the thing. I'm fine with modders getting paid. That's why platforms like Nexus Mods have people put up like tip links, or Buy Me a Coffee, I think is one of the websites that they use a lot. Patreon is another thing. There's a guy, I don't remember his full name. It's Otis something, but he makes a mod that unlocks a free cam in Unreal Engine games. Like, you remember the intro to my Hogwarts Legacy critique video? I was only able to film this because of a mod by that guy. And so I unlocked the camera and I could do all of this. But in order to get access to those tools, you sign up for the Patreon. So I'm a patron subscriber of his, and I support him in that way. So I am all for supporting modders who do great work to enable really cool things like this that wouldn't be possible otherwise. I'm all in for that. But again, talking about like treating people like they're stupid, the Creation Club is probably the most inefficient way to get modders paid. And the featured mods are all from Bethesda, not all of them, most of them are from Bethesda Game Studios. And they've been put together and they are quest lines exclusive to the Creation Club that you can't get anywhere else. It's stuff that's been cut out of the base game or future expansions and put into this microtransaction platform. I'm down for paying modders. I'm down for that. There's Todd. I forgot he was in this too. I'm all in for that, but I don't want, I think there are good ways to do it and bad ways to do it. And I think the Creation Club is sort of laughable in its approach, because they're trying to convince you that it's this really pro little guy way of doing it. And it's just frankly not. It's a platform that's been designed to boost Bethesda's revenues. They don't even state, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, have they said how much, what the cut is for the modders on this? Yeah, so previously for Fallout's Creation Club, it seems like it was 25%. And now it's probably about the same. So that feels worse. You know, you buy a $5 mod, the modder might be getting a little over $1. And Bethesda is just pocketing $3.75 or whatever. That feels rough, man. That doesn't feel good. Huh. So anyway, with all this, I guess to just wrap up my overall thoughts, to summarize it, I absolutely understand why people are frustrated by it. The Creation Club was initially pitched as this way for players to support the modding community more directly and financially, and then we come to find out that that was just the cover for Bethesda selling a bunch of microtransactions to you directly, and to also get a cut on the sale of mods that they didn't create, but they still get, if some of these reports are to be believed, if they're taking 75% and only 25% goes to the modder, like they're printing money without having to do anything. Like if somebody goes in and buys a $5 mod that Bethesda didn't really do anything for, cool, awesome. They just made a ton of money and they didn't have to do anything for it. Like, that's the ultimate dream for BGS. So when Todd says, we're going to reevaluate, we're going to look at it again. Yeah, he might look at it and then just hop back on his phone. You know, like I don't believe for a second that they're going to make any substantial change, because again, these systems are not for Joe Schmo. They're not made for the average gamer. They're made for the whales. You might not ever pay any money for microtransactions for games like this, but there are a lot of people out there. Still only like, you know, half of a percentage point of total players. But there's a lot of people that will spend hundreds of dollars on microtransactions in these types of games. Like, they will buy all of the little swag. They'll buy all of the optional skins. They just can't help themselves. And they justify it as like, well, I'm supporting a game I really like. Cool. That's awesome. But, I mean, I think it's easy for us to be like, yeah, nobody's buying this. It's like, no, there's 9,000 people that bookmarked that one. And there's a lot of people that probably bought it and didn't even bookmark it. So there's still probably, you know, they might have sold 10, 20,000 copies of that little DLC that was like a room. You know, it's just wild. He took my thing. Red flag.